All right, Outliers, Niiamah, Sean here, and thank you so much for letting us be a part of your journey here today. We are in this space here with an incredible exclusive roundtable here with Andrea Spearman. Andrea, like it's good to be in conversation with you. Welcome to the space, and thank you for coming onto the platform.
Hi, yes, hello. I'm very excited to be here and excited to chat with you today. Hello, outliers.
Hello. Andrea, the way I like to start every conversation is for outliers to get a chance to understand you and the game that you're playing. Do you mind letting us know more about that?
Say more. The game that I'm playing?
Yeah, so outliers is funny. You can tell, like sometimes I remember to tell people like the first question I'm going to ask you is to tell me about the game that you're playing. I forgot to give you that heads up. But really, I want to make sure outliers understand what's your mission. What's I look at impact and showing up in the world a bit like a game, not because it's not serious, but because it's so serious that like if otherwise it can crush us. And so I want to understand
Mm.
more about like the game that you've chosen to play. What's the game that you're playing in the world right now that brings you onto this show and has you show up as an outlier in your world?
Oh, okay. I am a community engager. I connect people. I connect people with each other, with resources, with opportunities to better themselves, whether it's career wise, whether it's spiritual, metaphysical, whether it's one on one with other humans. I am here to be a conduit to others.
Oh, I love this here. This is I'm glad we're going to be able to play in this place, especially being a conduit and community. You're catching me at a very interesting time at the time of this recording. All
Yeah.
right. Yeah, I just had some breakthroughs that have taken place here. Uh, Lori Sauce's one of my coaches, and like she just something really opened up around my own level of belonging and
Mm.
aloneness and loneliness, and I've been
Oh.
yes, and so I've been playing in that space for myself here, and what's been opening up is, oh, it's time now for me to go and bring people together and like and claim it and because it's always been happening, but to like actually claim it. And so I know that you bring together community. Like, let's start off here. Like, I see awards around you. I see different things going on all around here. Like, help me understand, like, what's your vehicle? What's your way of bringing your game to life?
Yes. Well, it started off with an idea back in 2020 during the Pandarosa, as I like to call it.
Mm.
And the idea was it actually happened while I was being interviewed for a different project because firstly, I am an artist. My medium is dance. I've been dancing for that 25 plus years now. Um, and so it started with an interview with me about a project that no longer could happen because we Pandarosa happened. So that kind of project had to be canceled, but they wanted to still interview me about what I was going to present, just to let people know, like, this is what it was going to be. And just here's more about me as an artist. And I started to think for myself, I'm like, well, this interview process was pretty, easygoing. I know a lot of people in my community who are multi hyphenated artists, business people, community leaders. Why is nobody talking to them about what they're doing and just who they are as people and their journeys? And I researched and I looked around and I sought around and I was like, there's nobody interviewing one, Black people, Black leaders and creatives here in the Bay Area specifically is where I started. So I'm like, why don't I do that? And I'm just going to start with my own little contact list of people because I know a lot of people already through the arts and in the community in general. And so from there, started off really rough, as you'll hear in the first season, a lot of crackles and sound issues because I am not a trained auto engineer. But, and I let people know that, I'm like, this is a grassroots endeavor. So you're going to get what you're going to get. We're learning together. This is a shared learning experience and high, curve. So it started with folks that I knew in my own circle, and it slowly started to spread out from friend of a friend to just people sharing with me, and it started to expand beyond the Bay Area. And I've spoken to artists who are across the nation. I've started to speak to people who were sent to me by PR agents, folks who have reached out to me specifically that are in the community that started hearing about the podcast. So that journey in that way of connecting people, that's how I got here. And on that journey, I've been very grateful to get some recognition from my community. I was honored. Well, there's Best of the East Bay. That's this one back here. And that's from last year. I also won this year, more recently, for Best Media Personality, as far as and my medium being podcasting. And that was over 2 TV anchors both years. So it's really reflective of how my community sees me and honors me. I was also honored by a organization called Oakland First Fridays back in March to celebrate, Women's Month. So that's this poster with my face on it, and the award platform right there. So it's not about the awards, but it's nice to have that recognition from community and to see how the community is seeing me and embracing me as I continue to expand beyond just individual interviews, but I have made my Instagram a community hub. I share jobs, grants, artistic opportunities, volunteer opportunities, different social services that happen in and around the Bay Area, the 9 counties of the Bay Area. I share local events that are happening, and these are a range of events from book clubs, running clubs, DJ dance parties, to sewing fun. And there's always brunches and mimosas popping here in the Bay Area. So there's always a litany of events, and each week, like, the list just gets longer and longer of all the events that we have in our community. There's always a festival. Oh, child, if anybody knows anything about San Francisco Bay Area, there will always be a festival
Oh, I love it. I
going.
love it.
Yeah. So that's my community and kind of my journey of how I got here.
Joseph, do you mind if I slow down a little bit with this here?
Sure.
Okay, so we got a couple things going on. One, I love the multi-hyphenated artists, business people, community leaders, like you're speaking my language, right? Um, Two is we're recording this in what, September of 2025. And so I listened to this and I think it's taken 5 years to get to this place, you
Yeah.
know? It's taken 5 years to get to this place. And you said it, you said, and slowly it grew, right? And I think that, like, I don't know, there's something that I find around, like, especially like feeling like a high achiever, I'm like,
Mhm.
why am I not there already? Why have they not recognized like, what is coming up here, right?
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate it because you're like, go back, listen to season 1. It's crackling. I made it work. We're learning, we're figuring this out together. If y'all like watching, I think Andrea was like, well, you don't have to go back to season 1. Like,
Well,
what?
no,
Like,
yes, you should. Yes, you
yeah.
should, because there
Mm.
are incredible artists that you should learn about, but also give it grace.
Okay, there we go. There we go. So, like, I think this element of giving it grace and starting where you are is tremendous here, especially for outliers. And yeah, like, what we're talking about this within the context of a podcast and showing up for your community and starting from zero. But I don't think that this changes, right? Like even as the community grows, your enterprise grows, like, there's going to be other things that you do for the first time. And I think that, like, this ability to just allow yourself to, like, meet the moment as opposed to having to be perfect about it, like, I think that that's what opens up the door. Is there anything you want to share or anything, like, about your experience with that, or does that even resonate as true for you when I bring it in?
Oh, perfection is not the goal. It's not the goal at all. I'm always learning new things about these settings, because when I first started, there was a particular distributor of podcasting that I later learned was kind of predatory. So it's like there's an evolution of learning. I went to a Black podcasters conference in Atlanta a couple of years ago. The learning is always continuing to happen. Um, the only thing that has remained the same is just me doing everything myself.
So
But
I was
even
really about to ask that. I was like, I heard all the things you're doing. I was like, so tell me about your team. I was like, she's probably
it's
doing
a
it
one
somewhere.
woman team. She, her, look, I'm gonna spin around in my chair. It's me
Yeah.
again.
So
It's
yeah,
that
hi,
like
me again. Yeah.
right. Like you
Yeah.
know how they have like the family sitcoms and it's like the brother, the
Yeah.
sister, and I'm like the host, executive producer, interviewer,
Yeah.
recruiter, all
Yeah.
of that is me.
How like let's talk through that because you know
Hmm.
like I don't know if people know this but like I have like I at the time it's recorded here I have one person on the team but I'm really about to go and expand and we get out we've
Yeah.
got a daily podcast more or less for a good part of a year right now you know um and and that's in addition to a bunch of other things you know uh, how I think the two questions I wanted to ask in are like one, like, how do you do it? Like, you know, how like, yeah, like, because I'm assuming you're not doing this full time too, right? So yeah. So how do you keep the energy up around this one? And then I think the second thing here would be like if there was like a teammate, if there was like one bit of support where like someone could be like, "Yo, look, I'm gonna be in the Bay Area. Like, Andrea, I heard you on the podcast. I have a day or two. Can I come? Can we come?" Or they're like, "Hey, I would like to come to continue to contribute to what you're doing." Like, what's the support that would be like most meaningful for you?
Mm. I'm sorry. Say the first part of the question
So
again.
the first one, the second one's where all the juice is at, by the
Right.
way, right? Because that like I could tell that like if that slows you down, I'm like that's where the juice is. The first one was just how are you doing and all, right? And the second one's
Oh,
like
how am I
about
doing?
support. What would be
I
the support that you would want?
I ask myself that all the time.
Hmm.
How do I do it all? Because I've said this before. I have 5 jobs.
Mm.
And living in the San Francisco Bay Area, that will not surprise a lot of people.
You have
It's
five
very
actual jobs, or is
expensive.
it like five roles within this job?
No, 5 actual separate jobs where I receive income.
Okay, okay, all right, keep going now. All right, now I'm seeing it. Go ahead.
Include I have a full-time job and 3 part-times, and then I receive membership money through Patreon for this podcast.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So
And
yeah, so
they are all within the arts, specifically dance
yeah.
here in this Bay Area community. And I think the best way, like you said, if somebody was to ask, if where do you need support, where how can someone help? The hardest part is really editing, because I can talk and have conversation with people. It's the editing down to uh the meat of the conversation. It's editing down to those clips that we like to see, on socials. It's taking that time to take out the ums and long pauses, or when
Mm,
people go down a tangent road and we have to bring them back, adding
yeah.
in ads and intros and music. So, really, that's the longest part for me, because I'm outside all the time. So I meet people, I'm exchanging information. I'm like, "Oh, I have a podcast," because I usually have my merch with me. I have my coffee mug merch today,
What does it say on
uh,
it?
the Black Landscape with my little
Nice,
face on it
nice.
with my natural hair. But I also have a tote bag that I take everywhere because it comes up as a conversation. It engages people, and it's a subtle, it gets into that subconscious of like, oh, there's always that girl with the Black Landscape bag.
Mm,
What is that? What is that about? I keep seeing her. I keep seeing that bag out and everywhere. I post it on my socials. Um, so yeah, that's really the hardest part, because the meeting and greeting people, got that down. The talking to them in the space, the recording space, got that down. Um, it's really the editing, whether
yeah.
it's video or just audio.
I feel like so there's a couple different things. So probably two
Mhm.
places I'm going to go. One, I'm going to talk about the hardest part, and then
Yeah.
the other part of it that I'm going to talk about is the like you know the allowing yourself to be seen,
Mhm.
in many different ways, the from the bag to the merch to like actually being out there. I think a lot of times, like I'll talk to outliers and they're the concern about being visible, the concern about self-promotion, and I feel like
Mhm.
you found some ways to navigate that like in a meaningful way. So I think I'll come back to that in just a bit. Um, I want to call out like the element of like the editing process and all that. Like I haven't gone applying for any awards or anything like that. But like I also know that like the only reason that this is able to go out is because I don't do editing. Like I I'm able to get more people featured because we have the conversation, and part of what works for me is I'm like I like to keep things real, right? And so that gives me a reason to not like have to edit. But like I feel you on just like on what that takes, like what happens with that, and how that changes like the dynamics, because it like an 30-minute conversation becomes a 2.5 hour like experience, right? I laugh. You're like 2.5 hours, like if
I
only.
don't let it get that far. I'm
Okay.
definitely the queen of, as we wrap up, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah. Oh, not about the length of time, but
Oh, but
the editing afterwards,
oh
right?
well,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Notice that she's no longer laughing, y'all. Right? But I'd like to put some of these things in just to make sure that like I get that there's a cost to what you are creating out there, and you're taking it on. So I really respect that. I really respect that. We'll talk. There'll be some things that if there's anything I have that can be of support, either people I know or things like that. Like let's talk. I think you're doing really good work there. Um, yeah, it's been really interesting. I've been asking myself about the return on investment for a lot of different things, and I'm like, all right, like what gets me further? Like what gets this mission out further? I'm like, I think it's getting another 5 people on the call, because I'm like, I could do that in an hour, uh, or I can take this one conversation and make it into something else. So I'm like, yeah, it's
Mm.
been like return on investment has been a really big question, especially nowadays where there's so many demands on time. There's another place I was going to take the conversation. I forgot to write it down. I said
Oh,
we're going to hear or here. I forgot where I was going to go, so that's why I haven't gone down that path. All right.
okay.
Yeah. Let me ask you, what's been one of the most interesting things about this conversation for you so far?
Oh, with you
Yeah.
here with you today.
Yeah.
I would say just you just said like you don't edit, so you just put out the conversations as they are.
Once we're done, we're done. There's more that I could be and should be doing.
Yeah.
But what I found is that it's been more important to get the conversation out. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
like going back to return on investment. I've been looking at a lot of things. I have a math background, right? An economics background, and so
Mm-hmm.
I can be good with numbers. I'm like, oh, okay, well, if we tweak this and we tweak that, like, and I can also, I'm not a perfectionist, but there's a lot of reasons for me not to get things out in the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think the word that's coming is like I get afraid a lot, you
Mm.
know. I get afraid a lot, and I feel like some of my best works come when I do go live, because I'm like
Mm.
I can't edit myself, and if I'm being also on this here, I'm still a recovering people pleaser. I heard someone the other day talk about being a
Oh, yeah.
recovered people pleaser.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm not done yet, but I'm getting closer.
It's a
Uh,
journey.
yes, but there's something about the fact that it's not edited that forces me to be real. That forces me to like stand by what I stand by. That forces me in the moment to be like, okay, like I could take this whole thing out, but I flubbed up, or like this part of the conversation went like sideways, or like I yeah, I like whatever shows up in it, right? Um
Yeah. And see, I am the opposite. I
mm,
I like to create a safe space, a warm and welcoming space. So sometimes when folks get very comfortable with me, they might go down a side road on a side quest. I don't, and sometimes there are conversations around people or places that have caused them harm,
yeah,
and we don't necessarily want to put that out into the atmosphere,
yeah,
or to have it come across as angry or bitter or just any kind of negative feelings, because we want to mainly focus on that person's journey, not about name dropping or things like that. And also for myself, sometimes life happens in the background. People have kids, dogs, fire truck sirens. This happened to me just because we live in cities,
Yep.
not the country. So life be happening in the background. So I don't necessarily want all of that to be part of it. And also sometimes folks have like taken breaks because there were construction people working on their house that they forgot about that day. So they had to
Yeah.
move into a space and they're in a closet in the dark. So
Yeah.
it's about being able to still connect with that person, but not necessarily show everything that's happening in the
Yeah.
background for me. And also, I like to put in my little music in the background. I have my little standard intro and outro and the things. I'm a little bit more polished. And I have brought myself forward more on camera because I started off as an audio only podcast. Because even though I'm outside a lot, seeing myself on camera sometimes, and like even though I've been a dancer performer, people have recorded me, but it's about this kind of, I'm not flowing,
Yeah. Yeah.
where I'm
Yeah.
moving about and you can't like capture me in one spot, but it's all a
Yeah.
growing experience.
I really like what you're saying, and we're going to leave this in the conversation, of course. But
Mhm.
part of what was going on, come on, was like one, like we have to serve to the goals that we want to serve to,
Mhm.
right? Part of my thing is really having people be able to show up fully as themselves, and so I'm
Yeah.
like, hey, like it works with the model that I'm trying to create. And I hear with you, like there's other things that you're trying that are exciting to you, that are important to you, and so you create
Mhm.
an alignment with that. And I love this element here, Outliers, because like the thing is that we're both doing it to 100%. Like we're both bringing all of it to the table here, and we're leveraging like the things that make us awesome through it. Andrea, like there's a personality thing. I think it like a personality branded thing called How the World Sees You. Have you heard of this?
I have not. Please
Okay.
share.
Okay. Well, it was bigger. I found it back in like 2016, but it ended up changing a lot for me. And it was just about like it was about like where your primary and secondary kind of like advantages are in life, and like it's like how does
Mhm.
the world see you? What did they come to you for, right?
Mm.
And in this conversation, you made me think about it, and the reason for that is that the my highest things were around innovation and power, and so like my thing is the maverick leader, right? That was the
Mhm.
one that came in. But up until that point, I was trying to speak from places of like mystery, high quality, and also like detail orientation. I was a consultant, so I thought I had like everything would
Mhm.
be there, and it's just like in terms of where I shine or where I was getting disproportionate returns, it wasn't in how like polished I could be, which is why eventually I was like, oh, I don't like that's not how people respond to me. People
Mm.
don't respond to me because of my polish, right? But you might be very different. Like you're a performer, you get like this is your like your livelihood is on how it comes across and such. So it makes sense to me here. And I want to make sure one, I'm curious about how you've taken your personality, the things that you know about yourself, so on and so forth, to enhance what it is that you're doing, the things that like, it's being built in the way that only Andrea would build it because it's you, right? So I'm curious
Yeah.
about that. Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing that I'm curious about, like, because it's like I'm getting a chance to see you through the choices that you're making through this, and I think it's really cool.
Yeah. Cause like I'm a performer. I come from a background of rehearse, take class. You're doing the same technique over and over and over to get to that perfection. But it's like that was my basic foundation of learning different styles of dance. But for me, as I grew as a choreographer, I took those basics and turned them on their heads because I fused different dance styles together. Because for me, I'm like, I can't be settled in just one. I have to connect the dots, because this piece or this work that I'm thinking about, or this message that I want to get out through my choreography, doesn't require just a singular style of dance. I have to give it some Haitian. I have to give it some hip hop or whacking. I have to give it some contemporary modern movement. It has to come from not only myself, but sometimes it also depends on the dancers that I'm working with too, and what their educational history or dance movements are that are ingrained in them, and just natural body movement sometimes. And I think that has pushed me in this way of podcast making, of yes, being coming from a natural sense. And of course, I want people to be authentic with me and tell me their true feelings and their journeys. And I've had people just, some people are just fantastic storytellers. And I barely had to edit anything except just adding in music and ad. So some people are really great in talking about themselves and storytelling in their journey, but others are very new to being asked about themselves and what they're doing. Because some people, you start a business, you like, oh, I started making these drinks. Now I'm sharing them with the people at like farmers markets. Well, now I'm putting them in stores, but they don't really know how to articulate their journey from A to Z or where they are now. So that's part of my personality. And also, I'm a person who doesn't like to be rushed. I move in my own time. You can't force me or make me. There's there's another story connected with that. I don't know if this is the place for it, but um but yeah, very early in life, my parents learned that I move when I want to move. I make decisions uh as I find out information. Like I try not to make any snap decisions. I like to research. I'm detail oriented. I'm very organized. Sometimes, most times, with information. And also, I like to see who people are, because I get discernment in my spirit when I meet people. And some people come with open hearts or open learning. Some people are nervous to express that. But I've learned, especially as I've gotten older, to keep an open mind and open heart and give grace. You're
You
muted.
got, yeah, thanks for the grace that you've given me on that one there. Uh no, it's just like as you were saying it, it's so one of the things that I thought was really fun for me, it was like as a dancer, you're like I will decide when I want to be moved or not, you know. And at the same time, I also feel like I'm enjoying talking to you because I feel like you're a movement leader. You know, it may not be how you look at it or how you speak to it, but like you stand for something in the world. And what's curious to me is I'm like I wonder how like dance and movement like speaks to or like lends itself to this. And just even saying like I in my mind you did not use these words, like, but it was something like I shall not be moved until I choose to be moved, you know.
Yes.
That like there's something in it that speaks to the resoluteness of leading a movement, you know, like of like I get that you are here for something, you have chosen to stand in it, regard like you're like I'll do 5 jobs to make sure that we get this going, but like I'm in it. I'm fully in it. And I'm fully committed. Like allies, I'm gonna ask you, like, what are you doing what moves you? What do you allow to move you? And what is moving you right now that like honestly, if you're really true to yourself, you're like, this hasn't earned its spot of actually moving me.
Ooh, what's moving me right now? What's moving me is my immediate community of family, friends, um, my circle of community colleagues who are taking back the city of Oakland in particular. Um, I have a friend who is a council member for the city of Oakland. I have friends who are event producers. I have friends who are musicians and artists, folks who are business owners here in Oakland. And there's been a lot of kind of back and forth, a lot of change that has happened in our political landscape of our city over the last really like 10, 15 years. And I feel like we're finally in a place where we have leadership that actually cares about the citizens as individuals, as groups, as people, not just numbers on a page or demographics. We have leadership that is listening, leadership that is moving, leadership that is expanding what our city can be. And that really moves me. And that leadership looks like me, to be more specific, in this particular time. That leadership looks like me, so it makes me hopeful. It makes me excited. And, you know, I look forward to just continued leadership that comes from a place of love and actually being in the community and from these same groups and looking through a lens of how can we improve our city today, tomorrow, and 40 years from now. So that's really what's moving me is the change, the stirring that's happening in my city.
This is very, very lovely. We're about to start wrapping up the conversation, but there's something in
Okay.
there where when you said like like leaders that look like you, right? I think that there's something really huge in that, and now I'll speak to outliers real quick here, but like I don't know if we give it ourselves enough credit for like the importance of allowing ourselves to be visible, the
Mm-hmm.
importance of allowing ourselves to take up the space or to lead the initiative or to simply just be in a way that others can see us, because for someone else, like like you're opening up doors for them. You're
Yeah.
open up like doors of possibility of like this can happen. And it's like, and it's no longer a what if. It's just like, okay, well, since that's happening, now what do we get to do? What do we get to try? What do we get to take on? What do we get to build? What do we get to create? And so like there's something in that, Andrea, that really hit me. And I know that you do a great job making sure that people get to be seen and that they are seeing each other. Do you want to speak a little bit more to like the work that you're doing with your community and how you're like showcasing and highlighting and elevating the people around you?
Yes, absolutely.
And if you
One
want to
thing,
speak more to what I was saying beforehand, feel free. Like I don't want to take you out of that, but
yeah, yeah. No, one thing that's really been fun and funny to me is that the folks who are like PR agents that have been reaching out to me to have their clients interviewed have been a lot of theater people. And I have not, I initially did not talk about so much my short-lived theater background, but like theater, dance, they're in the same performing arts scheme landscape. But I found it really interesting that so many theater folks have reached out to me in the last couple years, and being able to highlight Black theater artists, because that's really the hardest acting that you can do, because you're on stage in a moment. You can't, cut, scene, redo, you're on. As you said, like similar to how you do this podcast. Once you're on, you're on. That's it. That's all the audience gets. There's no rewinding, there's no do-overs. You get what you get. And that's why in theater, it's different every night. It's different every show. And I've been excited to highlight the Black artists that are in this Bay Area community, whether they've done individual, like one man, one woman shows, or whether they've been part of a larger work and highlighting that work, because people have gone out to those shows and they're like, wait, I didn't know there were so many Black people in theater. I'm like, yes, go support the people. Go support this young comedian turned playwright. Go support more recently a show, Candace Johnson, her journey discovering her diagnosis of ADHD. Go see people who are huge, huge names in the Black community. Robert Townsend came to the Marsh in Berkeley, did a one-man show. I was able to talk to him on the podcast about his journey and like everything that we know him for. And it's like he said, coming back to the stage has been his biggest joy. I said, you just never know like what you can do or where you can be a touch point in the community to get more Black folks outside, because that's really been a stalemate in theater. It's like, how do we get more Black people into the theater, because it feels like such a white centered Eurocentric space, because they're so used to like being quiet and like, okay, we clap at the very end. No, we are engaging and active people. We, girl, you okay, oh, you better sing, for especially for musicals. Oh, don't get us started. And I am one of the people in the audience encouraging the actors on stage, like, ooh, no, she didn't. Oh, okay, we're gonna sing da 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 da, whatever's happening. Like, we're an engaging, immersive people. So having us, more of us in the theater space as audience members and being able to show our young people that it's like there's different ways to express yourself. So that's probably been one of the highlights of engagement at like community touch points and really elevating certain communities. And also there's been folks that I've interviewed and talked to who have collaborated with each other after being on the show. They're like, oh, Andrea, can you hook me up with this person? I'm like, absolutely. Or I reach out to folks who I know have like small businesses whenever I see festivals that are looking for vendor booths. And I'm like, I start tagging, I'm like, so and so, reach out, reach out, reach out. And they're like, oh, I hooked up with this festival. I'm out at this festival. Thanks for letting me know. So it's not always like a super big public collaboration. Sometimes it's just those small one-on-ones of like, thanks, Dre, for letting me know about this. Now I'm gonna be in touch. I'm gonna get on their newsletter. I'm gonna follow these people. That's the connection points.
Yeah, so there's a number of different things that are going on for me. One, I love that you're connecting with people who take action on the connections, right? I think that like that's huge. Two, it's really cool to see how you're plugged in. Like one of my like as you're talking, I'm like one of my big things, like I'd love to be an ecosystem. Like not me, but I
Yes.
love to create like ecosystems more than even community. Community is nice, but I'm like ecosystems can feed families,
Yeah.
ecosystems can like there's something there where like community can feed souls, you know. Um and so I really love how like you're like, I'm gonna help you create more business. I'm gonna help like spread the word. Like there's something real in that, and I want to just make sure that I acknowledge that, as much as you have a podcast, like it doesn't, that's not the platform, you know, like you have this ecosystem in which a podcast is a part of it. I get that, but like you're really there for your community. I think that's just awesome. That's really really good. That's really really awesome.
Yeah. I'm just like Issa Rae. I want everybody Black to win.
Yeah, yeah. There's it's cool you brought up Robert Townsend. I was like, oh wow, that's like thinking
Oh,
back to Meteor Man and everything right now.
Five
Yeah,
Heartbeats, Hollywood
yeah,
Shuffle.
yeah. This is
Yeah.
cool.
And he
Uh,
was the producer for Papa's House with the Waynes more
did none of
recently.
that. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I wish they would have renewed it, but Black excellence is going to continue to soar no matter what.
I think that I really I appreciate this conversation. I appreciate like the findingness of you,
Mhm.
like your willingness to find what's there, your willingness to highlight, and to yeah, to elevate and to lean into. Like I got new pictures of like immersive theater. I was like, I haven't been to a theater like that, you
Yeah.
know? Like, all right. So what I don't want to say is that like I've never been to like really been to like a black church, And so and like, yeah, see, like you're about this dropped, right? Yeah. So like there is
Sir.
yeah, there's a whole element of that where I'm like, oh yeah, like I grew up differently than the way than the way I live my life.
Mm,
And that too is awesome. You know, that too has space. That like
yeah.
um and not just like it's acceptable, but it's like, oh, that too is worth going to in and of itself.
Yeah.
Who said that it needs to be that this is how the world needs to be, this is how we should experience theater. Like, I mean, when you described it, I was like how what would it be like to be like in an immersive environment where like the audience is also part of it, you know?
Yes.
Like we know we have our like, there's the boundaries that don't interfere, but there's the way in which we grow with each other. Like there's something there where we all enhance together. I've been at some live theater where people are like, I'm like, all right, like you're not helping. You're not helping.
Oh, well,
Um,
let me tell you, since you said that, I
yeah.
recently went to a show that was immersive dance and theater by a Black queer collective called Rupture in San Francisco at Fort Mason. There's a huge pavilion. They used every single square footage of that space. It started off with the audience playing spades.
Mm.
We were playing spades. We had some snacks, some drinks going, and y'all don't take my black card. I've never played spades before in my life. So I learned that night and I got 5 books. So be proud of me. Clap for
Nicely
that
done.
at your house. And move from that kind of like kickback aspect to the performance part. And the whole theme was like being shipwrecked, being sirens, uh, economic space, consumerism, garbage, the queer experience of moving through life. What is your truth? They literally had like garbage, like random pieces of trash, like styrofoam, random pieces of clothing, materials. There was a whole built out, like kind of little box car that somebody wore, and it's like they were dancing from platform to scaffolding. They did a runway kind of fashion walk with the different with the different trash items, and then it went from all of them like climbing onto this really tall structure, having conversation up there. There was an aerial dance movement, flying through the air with the greatest of ease. There was a huge uh what do you call it, like a huge rubber ball that was probably like
Mm.
10 feet tall, that the performer that was aerial, they dropped into it and somebody was rolling around in it, and we all ended it with like a club dance party at the end of the night. And the audience moves back and forth through the pavilion with them. It was really fun and interactive, and that's the kind of immersive show, and all Black. So that's, I'm like, that's the kind of thing that more of us need to see and be a part of. And that's where we are as creatives. You can't hold us into a box.
Andrea, I'm really grateful for you. This time we're gonna actually wrap up the conversation, but
Okay.
like, but again, I'm gonna say some things here that like I don't always say, right? Which is like, I one of my favorite moments in this conversation is when you're like, and like don't take my black card like it's the first time I played spades, right? I think that
Mm-hmm.
like it was really profound for me because like I'm a dark guy. I just became black this time 6 years ago. Yeah. Oh no, I was African American for sure
Oh.
before then. Yeah. Um, but like, yeah, it's been new. I mean, it's been newer to me. Like literally someone's like, "Oh, you just became black." I was like, "Yeah." It's like, "Gotcha." Right? Uh,
Okay.
and so there's something in there that I think is really, really, really powerful for me when you're like when I hear you talk about how like black excellence and all the connections you're making, how you're lifting up people, and you're like, hey, you know what? Like I hadn't played spades, you know? And it's like I'm like and it's one of those things that just like felt uh like I was like, what? Like I had one of those moments. But it's one of those things that I feel like is one of the lovely things about life and is a great equalizer. And so which is that like we all have our experience and we bring to the table what we have. And we often the way I say is like we often compare how we feel on the inside with how others look on the outside, right? And so
Mm.
like as I'm hearing various things, I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of thoughts that are going through my mind. I'm grateful for you for allowing me to have my own experience of self, you know?
Yes.
Um, so we're going to wrap up here. Outliers, my ask of you as you're listening to this here is there's someone in the world, in your world, not the world, but your world, who this conversation was made for. It's something that they've been wanting to join. It's something that it's a conversation that they've been looking for. My ask is that you just send them this episode as a way of connection, as a gift to them, the way of letting them be seen, heard, and valued for who they are. You can always share this out with other people, but I believe at the core of it, like one person, one conversation at a time, is the initiative that actually makes us like relevant for decades. If
Mm.
we like, it's what it goes beyond that initial push and gets to like this message kept reaching the right person at the right time, and we just never had to stop. Right.
Yes.
So, Andrea, like as we wrap up here, we wrap up in two ways. The first one is that I'd like for you to share with us the best way for outliers to go deeper down the journey with you. And then the second thing is that if we put outliers to the side, every conversation I have should be one of growth for everyone that's involved. And I'd love for you to share with us an insight that you are leaving this conversation with. And if you're not leaving anything with any new takeaways or anything like that, let you can just say that too. Like no pressure. All right. So how can we go deeper down the journey with you? And what's an insight that you have?
Yes. Please connect with me. Reach out to my Instagram. That's the best way to reach out with me because then you can see the latest things that are happening. All the links are there. You can also, and then my Instagram is the Black Landscape. And then in the little profile picture, you'll see me against the purple background. And you can also stream seasons 1 through 7 uh on all the streaming platforms, on the YouTubes, the Spotify, all the things, wherever you get your podcast listening to. If you want to become part of the Landscape Gang, join the Patreon. Patreon.com/the Black Landscape. It's $5 a month, and you get access to full-length episodes of interviews, whether they're video or audio. We do giveaways. There's exclusive merch and behind the scenes content of other activities that I do in the community. Because I do some collaborations with other community leaders and artists and things that I don't always share to Instagram or social. So come on in for the access. You're welcome. The door's open. The doors of the church are open.
I love that. And then
um,
an insight you got for today.
yeah, I think the insight is to really to take away like the overthinking sometimes because I appreciate your pathway of presenting things as they are, and I do find myself as a Capricorn, if you believe in star signs and all that, a January Capricorn specifically, an eldest daughter, um, and as a Black woman, like I tend to overthink some of the things that I want to present to my community and my audiences. So I'm thinking about your way of like sometimes you just gotta let the blunder go and just be real and authentic in that moment. I'm gonna take some of that with me and work on being a little more in the moment.
Oh, I'm very grateful for you because you do show up in the moment as well. Like you show up for people, you show up in your world, and so my I get excited to see what happens when you play with that a little bit further and see what that
Mhm.
frees you for. Not just for you, but honestly, get like for the people around you that get a chance to really get to experience even more of you and more of themselves because you you do you elevate those around you. So thank you so much,
Oh,
Andrea.
thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Outliers, until the next time we talk, journey on and be you on purpose.